The night after the mysterious phone call, Sophia barely slept. Her apartment, once a place of comfort, now felt like a cage of shadows. Every creak in the wooden floor, every gust rattling the window, made her sit up in fear. The Qur'an still lay on her desk, its green cover glowing faintly under the lamplight, like a secret beacon. She didn't dare move it. She couldn't look away from it either. When the first pale light of dawn crept through her blinds, Sophia dragged herself into the shower. The mirror reflected dark circles under her eyes. She looked like a stranger, haunted, restless, caught between two worlds. She pressed her palms against the sink. Who was that caller? How do they know about the book? Why do I feel like I'm being followed? By the time she walked into the university, the city outside was alive with its usual chaos. Horns blared, students chattered, professors marched down corridors. But for Sophia, everything moved in a muffled blur, as if reality itself had grown distant. She sat in her philosophy lecture, notebook open, pen in hand. Professor Miles paced the front of the room, speaking about Nietzsche's God is Dead proclamation and the birth of existentialism. Modern philosophy, he said, adjusting his glasses, is about human freedom. Without divine law, man becomes his own master. Morality is what we decide it to be. Students scribbled furiously, some nodding in agreement. But Sophia's heart clenched. The words sounded different now, almost hollow. She thought of the verses she had read. Indeed, it is we who sent down the reminder, and indeed, we will be its guardian. Her pen hovered above the page. The words in the Qur'an seemed eternal, unshaken by centuries of thought. Nietzsche's voice, Sartre's voice, even Miles' confident lecture. Suddenly, they all sounded like echoes in a room with no ceiling. Her hand trembled. She scribbled one word in the margin of her notes. Truth? After class, Emma caught up to her. "You've been ignoring my texts," Emma said, folding her arms. "Are you hiding something?" Sophia forced a laugh. "I've just been busy." Emma narrowed her eyes. Busy or distracted? She lowered her voice. "Soph, you're acting weird. First you ditched drinks, then you run off early, and now you look like you haven't slept in days. What's going on?" Sophia hesitated. She wanted to tell Emma everything. The call, the man following her, the book that was pulling her deeper and deeper. But Emma would never understand. She would laugh, call it paranoia, or worse, drag her back to the noisy parties and drinks that now felt poisonous. "Nothing," Sophia said firmly. "Just school pressure." Emma didn't look convinced, but she didn't press further. Later that evening, Sophia sat in the library again, the green Qur'an hidden between thick textbooks. Zayd was already there, seated at his usual spot. He looked up, his gaze sharp yet calm. "You look tired," he said. "I got a call," she whispered. "Someone told me not to read the book." Zayd's jaw tightened. He leaned closer. "And did you stop?" She shook her head. I couldn't. But Zayd, what if they're watching me? What if this is dangerous?" Zayd's voice was low but steady. "The truth has always been dangerous, Sophia. Prophets were threatened. Followers were persecuted. Lies never needed guards, but truth always had enemies. The question is, are you willing to carry it?" Her throat went dry. She wanted to say yes, but fear rooted her tongue. Before she could answer, A shadow fell across their table. Professor Miles stood there, his hand resting on the back of a chair. "Sophia," he said, smiling politely. "A word." She froze. "Yes, Professor?" He gestured toward his office.
"Now."
Inside his office, books were stacked like walls. The air smelled of coffee and dust. Miles sat behind his desk, steepling his fingers. "You've been distracted lately," he said. "Your essays lack the clarity I expect from you. Is something wrong?" Sophia shifted uneasily. "No, I'm fine." Miles studied her. "You're carrying a book I've never seen you with before. A green one. May I ask what it is?" Her heart stopped. He had noticed. "It's just something I borrowed," she said quickly. "Borrowed?" Miles leaned forward. "Be careful, Sophia. Ideas are powerful. Some ideas can liberate, others can enslave. Don't lose your critical mind chasing old myths." Her pulse raced. Did he know what the book was? Or was this just coincidence? She forced a nod. "Of course, Professor." But as she left his office, her fear only deepened. Everyone seemed to know. Everyone seemed to be watching. That night, Sophia sat at her desk, the Qur'an open before her. She whispered as she read, "Indeed, Allah is with those who fear Him and those who are doers of good." Tears welled in her eyes. Was this what she had been searching for all along? Not philosophy, not freedom, not noise and laughter, but presence. A God who is near, not abstract. She pressed her forehead against the cool pages. For the first time in years, she prayed, not with rehearsed words, but with her heart. "God, if you're there, show me. Guide me. I'm lost." The room was silent, but inside her, something shifted. A flicker of peace. A whisper of light. Just then, her phone buzzed again. She froze, staring at the screen. Another unknown number. Hands trembling, she answered. At first, silence. Then the same low voice. "You didn't listen." Her breath caught. "Who are you?" The voice hissed. "You're being watched. Stop reading. Or next time, you won't be warned." The line went dead. Sophia dropped the phone, her body shaking. She looked at the Qur'an. Fear and determination clashed inside her chest. She whispered through her tears, "Even if they're watching, I won't stop." Outside, the city's neon lights flickered. Somewhere beyond the glass, hidden eyes still followed her every move. But inside, Sophia felt the stirrings of a new resolve. The days that followed felt like walking on thin ice. Every glance from a stranger, every rustle in the hallway, every shadow on the street carried a hidden threat. Sophia began to notice small things. A man in a gray coat lingering near the campus gates. The same black car parked outside her apartment 2 nights in a row. Footsteps behind her that vanished when she turned. Her mind swung between paranoia and certainty. Am I imagining this? Or are they really watching me? And yet every night, she returned to the book. The Qur'an had become both her fear and her lifeline. Each verse seemed to pierce through the noise around her and settle deep in her soul. And we have certainly made the Qur'an easy for remembrance. So, is there any who will remember? The words echoed in her chest like a secret answer. One evening in the library, she leaned toward Zayd, whispering, "They called me again." Zayd's expression hardened. "What did they say?" They said I won't be warned next time. For a long moment, Zayd was silent. Then he said, "That means you're closer to the truth than ever." Sophia's hands shook. "You talk like you're not surprised. Do you know who they are?" Zayd hesitated, then lowered his voice. "There are always people who fear the light of truth. They live in every city, wear every face, professors, politicians, even friends. Their goal is the same, to keep hearts locked in darkness." Sophia's pulse raced. "But why me? I'm nobody, just a student." Zayd's eyes burned with quiet intensity. "Because you're searching. And once someone truly searches, they become dangerous." That night, Sophia walked home faster than usual. The streets were slick with rain, lamps casting fractured reflections on the pavement. She tightened her coat, clutching her bag where the Qur'an lay hidden. Halfway to her apartment, she felt it again, footsteps. Slow, deliberate, echoing her own. She stopped. The footsteps stopped. She quickened her pace. The sound followed. Her chest constricted. She spun around. A figure stood under a flickering streetlight. A tall man in a dark hood, his face shadowed. He didn't move. He only watched. Sophia's breath caught. She ran. Her shoes splashed through puddles as she fumbled for her keys. She burst into her apartment, slammed the door, and locked it twice. Her heart thundered as she leaned against the door. Silence pressed in around her. Then from outside, a faint knock. Not loud, not hurried, just one slow, deliberate knock. Her blood turned cold. The next morning, Sophia sat in the back row of class, hardly able to focus. Miles was lecturing on postmodernism, talking about how truth is relative and every narrative is just perspective. Sophia's jaw tightened. For the first time, she wanted to interrupt, to tell him that maybe there is truth, unchanging, unbreakable, that maybe all these philosophies were blind men groping at the edges, while the light of certainty had always been there, waiting. But she stayed silent. Her hands gripped the desk, trembling. After class, Miles approached her again. His smile was polite, but his eyes sharp. "You're distracted, Sophia," he said softly. "Be careful what roads you walk. Some lead to liberation, others to chains." Sophia forced a nod, but inside, suspicion twisted. Was it just academic concern, or did he know more than he should? That evening, she called her father. "Dad," she said, trying to sound casual, "did anyone ever threaten you? At work, I mean." There was a pause. Then his voice, weary but firm. "Why do you ask?" "No reason. Just curious." He sighed. "Sophia, in politics, threats are normal. People protect their power. They don't like questions. But don't worry about that. You just focus on your studies." Her chest tightened. She wanted to tell him everything, but she knew he wouldn't understand. Or worse, he'd forbid her from even touching the book. So she stayed quiet. The more she read, the heavier the air around her grew. Yet with the fear came something else, a strange clarity. She began to see through things she once accepted blindly. The laughter at parties felt hollow. The endless debates in class felt circular, chasing meaning but never reaching it. Even Emma's casual gossip felt like static noise compared to the gravity of the verses. One night, Sophia wrote in her journal, "The Qur'an feels alive. Like it's not just words on a page, but something watching me, speaking to me. Every verse feels like it already knows what I'm thinking. Is this what revelation is? A mirror of the soul? She closed the journal, hands trembling. 2 nights later, Zayd wasn't at the library. His seat sat empty, the lamp unlit. She waited, but he never came. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Your friend won't be helping you anymore. Her breath stopped. She dialed Zayd's number, but it went straight to voicemail. Panic surged through her veins. She grabbed her bag, rushing into the rain-drenched streets, searching every corner of the campus, every cafe, every alley. But Zayd was gone. As she stood in the pouring rain, drenched and shaking, she realized the weight of her choice. This wasn't just curiosity anymore. This was war, and she was already in the middle of it. That night, she opened the Qur'an with trembling hands. And hold firmly to the rope of Allah altogether, and do not become divided. Her tears fell onto the page. She didn't know what tomorrow would bring, threats, surveillance, even violence. But something inside her was shifting from fear to defiance. For the first time, she whispered, "I won't let them take this from me." The shadows outside pressed against the glass. But inside, Sophia felt a fragile but unbreakable flame.